What is going on, everybody? Tubo29 back in the lounge yet again. Make sure to kick back, relax, and grab some snacks, because it's time for yet another round table podcast. This time it is volume 22. It's actually insane to me. Every time that I have another one happening, it still shocks me. We're closing in on a year. We're closing in on a year of the rebirth of the podcast, which is absolutely wild. There's definitely some backlog in terms of the videos that have been uploaded to the YouTube, which unfortunately, that is all on me. Life has been very hectic lately. But you're not here to listen to that. You're here to listen to us talk about the game. So let me go ahead and introduce Mr. Man himself, the man who represents none of the riffraff, the self-proclaimed People's Champion. He has Muhammad Ali's mother give him a championship belt to make himself feel important. It is Mr. B-Rock Gaming. B-Rock, talk to me. What's going on, brother?
How do we get Muhammad Ali? You know what? My introductions get more and more wild week after week after week. I went from the riffraff, and then I was the king of the riffraff. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just a guy. I'm a guy here who speaks for the people, the average person. I am Vince Vaughn's average Joe here. I am the people's champ. I'm the voice of the voiceless. Those are the monikers right now, and that's it. You know, I don't live in the penthouse. I don't live in the Bronx either. I'm somewhere in the middle.
I just want everyone to remember, Vince Vaughn is a multi-millionaire. That is neither here nor there. Awesome to have you, B-Rock. Next up, I have with me his better half, his partner in crime at not a full-time job, on his new Discord account, which I have no idea how it got into the server, but hey, huge shout out to him. Maybe it was B-Rock. I don't know. Probably was if I had to guess. But anyway, Chris, welcome on back. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, and your videos have a link to your Discord in it.
Ah, there you go. See, perfect.
Also, I just want to point out, B-Rock, man, you are spending too much time trying to convince people you are the people's champion. The people's champion does not need to convince the people he is their champion.
See, that, my friends, that, ladies and gentlemen of the listeners of the Roundtable Podcast, is Chris's way of telling you that he is the people's champion. Good to have the both of you here. I also have with me someone that I decided to help out with Feud Help last night. Somebody who is crushing some waffle cones. How many this is in a photo, I have lost count. But if you were here listening in live, you would be able to see in the podcast live chat just this overwhelming mountain of waffle cones. It is Kitsu Shell. Shell, how's it going down there in the trenches of waffle cone?
Hey, Bob. Kitsu Shell here from the new ministry. And it's going. It's very, very hot process. My boss is on vacation, so I'm filling in today, making waffle cones for the shop we work at.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like Kitsu Shell from over there instead of over here. But that's okay. That works. As long as we can hear the voice and we know that cones are being made in the background, we are good to go. Good luck with that. Hopefully your boss shows up soon, or somebody shows up soon to help you out with that, because that looks like a mountainous amount of waffle cone. And last but certainly not least, the man who has changed his name to include a Z in front of it so that I will make sure to always point him out last, even though his name already alphabetically happens to be after everybody else on the podcast on a typical enough basis. The man, the myth, the legend, one half of the reason why I brought back the Roundtable Podcast in the first place. It is Mr. Southside Envy. Envy, good morning to you. How is it going?
Good morning. It's going great. Southside Envy from the new ministry, the voice of the Warriors. And this week's Warrior of the Week, Mr. Sport 1978, for giving suggestions on revamps. And also, shout out to all the people that have been somehow come to the channel and getting those subscribers up. We're up to like 45 right now. Amazing. And shout out to everybody who reached out on Discord. The DMs are open. So shout out to Argus Shish ENF. Shout out to you for reaching out to me and telling me that you want to join the gender movement. The gender movement is on and popping. And if you missed last week's podcast live, go back in the videos when it comes out to hear top 10 fantastic boxes. It's something that you should just get in there.
That's the slogan. Wait until you hear the top 10 boxes. Just get in there. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Let me. Oh, Jesus. All right. So clearly, I'm going to need to start posting these podcasts a little more timely because people are going to listen to this and wonder what the hell we're talking about. Oh my god. Okay. Well, enough of the introductions. We're going to hop right on in to our topics. So. Topic number 1 for the podcast. It is the main event Beck's Showdown. So for the showdown that we had for week number 2, I believe it was, on the MLC, we had the main event Beck's Showdown. So Becky's debut contest. There's the new format, I guess is what I want to call it, the top of the card showdown. So top of the card showdown with the new Leech Ultimate plates. Whenever you make 6 or more Leech gems, increase all your gem damage by 200%. Those plates were released, as well as the Women's Evolution moment in your showdown bucket. So quite a decent chunk of emotions flying high on this one, myself included. There was also a throwback of Motu Becky on the prize wall for some oddball reason. But yeah, curious what everybody's thoughts are on the weekend. Did anybody care about, trying to recruit Becky early, or were they content that they're going to get Becky later on in the month? Was anybody really stressing over getting any of these Leech Ultimate skill plates? And I guess most importantly, what did everybody think about the whole top of the card leaderboards for your bucket if you were in the top league to have a moment in it? So a few things to talk about. We can talk about all of them. We can talk about one of them at a time. But I'm curious what everybody's thoughts were on this one. Chris, let's start with you. What is your outlook on the main event Beck's Showdown weekend?
Well, I guess my outlook, it was fine. Unfortunately, I feel like I say that a lot. But I mean, I didn't really do too much for this. So I just did the normal, showdown stuff. I wasn't that impressed with, prize wall stuff and all of that. I just figured, I did try for the moment for a little bit, but then I saw, the people in my bracket were spending some serious money, and I was like, I'll get this somehow another way. And that other way, it turns out, is probably going to be for Feud this weekend, thankfully, so it won't be waiting long. But people just need to realize, for that moment being placed just for the first ranked person in a bracket was a deliberate decision by Scopely, because it is meant for you to spend, and they're trying to pit everyone against each other so people will spend more so they can get that, that first ranking. So I basically just, did the best I could. I think I got 3 or 4 in mine. Got what I got. I still got pretty far in the solo contest, and obviously I completed the showdown.
Right.
So it was, in terms of what I was able to do, it was a pretty successful weekend. I just wasn't able to get the moment because I wasn't willing to put all that money forward.
Any desire on the new Leech Ultimate plates?
Oh yeah, I think they're good. I actually like what they're doing, getting that set of plates, there's a rainbow one and then one for each color for basically all the gems. It seems like we're going through all of them. I do appreciate that, because it's especially ones like the Leech. they're reinforcing that. We don't have a lot of those plates in the game, as opposed to like, you know, multi-gems and stuff like that. We have plenty of plates for that. So I appreciate that they're doing more for some neglected, I guess would probably be the best way to put it, some neglected specialty gems.
Yeah, it's a good point. Did you end up getting any of the leech plates from the prize wall?
I actually, and this was probably the most disappointing part, I was short. I think I got to like 11,000 prize wall medallions or whatever they were. So there was nothing really I needed, so I just tried to roll my luck for some IOW affiliation straps, and I struck out.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend with those. Well, alright, seems like a pretty chill weekend for you, Chris. Shell, talk to me about the showdown weekend for main event Bex. What's your thoughts on this one?
Okay. I went into the weekend, like optimistic because I felt like I did pretty well in the first, set of bucket showdowns that they did.
Sure.
Then I saw the people who were in my bucket, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be a chill weekend. I'm not getting this moment. I was very similar to Chris. I fell a couple hundred short of being able to get one of the plates, the medals. And I was like, okay, well, oh well. So I did the exact same thing. And I rolled my chances on the straps. And I got poo-poo. So it's what it is. Until I saw that moment on this weekend's prize wall, I was kind of really annoyed about the whole, only the top person has the opportunity to get this. But much like what Chris said, it's a spend event. They want you to spend, they want you to fight for it. But I definitely feel much better about it now, knowing that it became more widely available.
Yeah, it's better to see that it's available for anybody that wants to get it now. I'll chime in here too. So I didn't really have a desire to getting Becky on her weekend. As I'm sure those of you that are watching on the YouTube playback, you'll see that I still haven't recruited her even heading into this weekend. I'm about 100 shards short, and I'm not losing sleep over that. The moment itself, I really wanted the moment. Everybody in the game that has ever interacted with me knows that I try to get every single moment that I can, because I like being able to play characters to their fullest power and extent. I don't like having somebody that is on my account that's half-ass strong. I don't want to say the same for gears. Like, there are some gears out there that I'd love to get, like JBL Gold gear, right? I'd love to get that one for him because I have his silver. It'd be awesome if I can get both of them. And, things like that are definitely helpful, but moments seem to be very beneficial for just about every single character that is in them in one way or another, especially those towards the top of the roster, so to speak. So I'm always going for moments. That being said, this was a double-edged sword for me. Yes, I walked away with the moment, and yes, it was probably cheaper than if they just simply sold it on the prize wall. But no, I did not enjoy the process. I hated the idea that this was tied to number one in the bracket. The brackets can contain other people from your own faction. That's number one, which I don't like the idea that this builds animosity between each other in the same faction. And this leads to players making sneaky purchases of energy behind closed doors that they don't tell their faction mates, and that just gets people very upset at the end of the day, because it's like, well, you told me you weren't going to push, and then you ended up pushing. The arena of showdown for top of the card leaderboard, so to speak, I guess is the best way of saying it. It's not conducive for bettering the faction as a whole if it only rewards first place. If it's maybe top 3 or top 5, or like we had the first time, top 4, like, yeah, you and your faction mates will probably want to go ahead and strategize together as to how the both of you can get into the top 4 or the top 3. But the second that it's top 1, it's always about me, I, nobody else. And that's not great. The midweek showdown prior to this showdown, I had 0 chance of winning because I didn't really see any reason to spend any money for the midweek showdown. The midweek event we'll talk about a little bit later on, just because of the way it falls in our little bullet points here. But I had 0 purpose to spend on that, and when I looked at the numbers of those people ahead of me, turns out I was in a bucket with 2 players that finished in the top 15 in the entire game on notoriety. Not like just my bucket, but the entire game. And then the weekend, I had another one of those players in my own personal showdown bucket, and very similarly to Shell, it was like, well, weekend's over before it began. And that was a real crappy feeling. But with a lot of, I guess, persistence and hard-headedness, I decided to give it the good old college try and just started grinding showdown wins and picked up some huge notoriety and told myself, I could probably do this for a couple of bucks. And yeah, it ended up costing, I think, 4 sets of energy purchases, which was $10 a piece, so it cost me about $40 in energy. And yes, I walked away with a win. I was top 100 or something in the notoriety. I don't remember where I was there, but I walked away in first on my bracket. So I was happy to win it, but I hated the process. I hated the fact that it was like the second the bracket went live, Saturday 3 p.m. Eastern, at reset, it was like, yeah, this event's over. There's no point in me playing. That's not conducive for an enjoyable weekend for anybody, whether it's myself or anybody else. So that's it for Becky in the moment. The plate, as you saw, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, you've seen that I got the rainbow plate. It cost me a very minuscule amount of money that I had spent on energy. And by getting all those energy purchases, I had gotten more milestones, which had more prize wall, which brought me just enough to get the rainbow plate. And I don't even think I could get one of the affiliation IOW straps that Chris and Shell were talking about. I don't even think I could try to get one of those, but I got one of the other ones, or I got some like coins and star fragments, econ stuff, right? Like just cleanup stuff. So the prize wall was not really that fantastic. It was actually pretty sad. And that's kind of it for the weekend, right? So yeah, I'm happy that I got to walk away with the moment. No, I hated the process. I'm happy about the price because it was probably cheaper than if they just sold it outright. I had no reason to chase Becky. We'll get Becky when we get Becky. Even though she's a feud line in this, week 3 feud. Cool. If I really feel the need, I'll bum the 100 shards off of the month-long prize wall and recruit her that way if I really feel the urgency to get her, but that there's no need for. And the plate is the plate. It's a cool little plate. It's a replacement to I guess, kind of like Chris said, just some other very bland plates. This one's a nice little leech plate that you can put on just about anybody that has leeches. Thing is, there's not really a lot of great leech characters in the game, so hopefully we get some more in the future. I know my striker Austin is looking at it like, yeah, that'd be sick, but I don't really need it for him. I have an LA plate, so weekend was okay, but kind of on the lesser enjoyed side because of the format. B-Rock, I'm curious what your thoughts on the whole format was.
So, I am somebody who, when this initially rolled out, I was like, oh, this is good. This is great. This is fantastic. I opened up the showdown, and I saw 3 names. I was like, how am I in this group?
Yep.
There's no reason for me. I didn't even play. I didn't even showdown until I got, because I have the pass. I luckily had a free pull. I pulled Becky.
Oh, congrats.
Yep, pulled Becky. She's 6-star gold right now. I leveled her up. And then I did everything. I did all the tours, and I collected, I think I had like 30 energies somewhere in that vicinity.
Okay.
I did not play one showdown until there was an hour left in the contest. And I ran through everything as fast as possible. And I went from somewhere in the 20s up to 5.
Wow.
And I lucked out to get to 5. But the difference between me at 5 and the person who was at 1 was somewhere around like 10,000 notoriety.
Yeah, crazy amount.
And you know what? I don't know if you personally have the list of who the top 15 were, but I guarantee the one in my bracket was probably number 1, because that person for some reason buys a crap ton of energy, and I don't know, he just does. He's always in like the top 3, and when I saw his name, I was like, all right, well,
No chance.
the rat, no chance. And so, and then I had I had 2 people from Woken. I was just like, damn, this is a gauntlet.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I didn't, believe it or not, the last couple of times that we did this sort of breakout, I had people from my own faction in there. And in this case, I had nobody from my own faction. It was just me. So it was definitely different. I think because I did well in the last showdown before this one, I think if you do well, they put you in a harder bracket. I know that we can't say that that's what happens, but this one was completely different than any of the other ones that I've ever done.
Yeah, I don't have any proof of that, obviously. I kind of wish I did, but I don't. There's
I don't know, because I'm not really a showdown person. I don't like showdown. I do it because I have to. But I noticed, like, in my bracket, we all had similar roster sizes. Like, me and, like, my faction mates that's above me had, we were the 2 that have 18 million rosters. And we were in the same bracket. Someone who used to be in our faction, who's awoken now, actually 2 of them, similar roster sizes, same bracket. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. So just because you have like a whale roster does not mean you have like whale tendencies to play.
Yeah, I don't know how the bracket thing is going to account for that, but that's also a fair point. It's tough. It's really tough for the brackets to kind of work properly. Envy, talk to me. Your thoughts on the main event Bex Showdown weekend?
Well, I had a different experience than everybody else, because when you come in my bracket, they say, oh shit, that's Natalie in my bracket. We might as well close down shop. You about to run through this thing. You see that 10 them below me? Oh boy. They know they in for some trouble. So, of course, I ran through them, whatever. But, I got the play. I got the moment. I think, so I was in a conundrum. I was like, I can get this rainbow plate, or I can get 100 Kamala shards. I can get this rainbow plate, or I can get 100 Kamala shards. But I'm like 900 away from Kamala. I said, it's not going to be a chance I get Kamala. Then I look at the prize wall this weekend, and there's 600 Kamala shards on it.
They're expensive, but yeah, they're there.
But I'm not going to use this rainbow plate ever. I just got it for kicks. But yeah, I went out there. I did spend 40 in energy just so I could get some extra prize walls. So I even took the notoriety promoters off because that's how bad I was beating these guys. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna focus on the coin because I'm trying to get me some. I'm trying to get this plate off the prize wall. So we did it. We did it, and I wasn't in the mood to get Becky. I didn't even care about Becky. No pulls for Becky. Who would do that? So, so I'm 100 away like you, and I didn't even realize that I could just go to the prize wall and get that 100 if I felt like it. Probably won't, but I could and pass up on the 6-star box because that wasn't one of the fantastic boxes listed. So we don't know what we'll do, but I mean, the weekend was okay. It wasn't really that frustrating. I sadly lost like a few times in showdown, and every time I lost trying to complete those whatever the CSS, it hurt my heart. I was like, and one of them I could have won. You know, when you have somebody beat and you're like, oh, we could do this, and then we try to get a little extra points, and then you lose. It's like, oh, well, shouldn't have done that. But it didn't matter because all the people in my bracket are a bunch of chumps. And let me just say, when you see Natalie on the board, just know it's a loss. It's a loss. You might as well be playing for second, unless I just won coins. Because I could just won coins. I might not even care if it's just these sorry pulls. But when there's moments on the line, you might as well count it as a loss.
So Envy out here just provoking everybody.
So is anyone else now hoping they'll get in the bracket with Envy just so we can
Come on down.
Come on down to Envy Town. Shit. All right.
I won't spend to get the moment, but I'll spend to kick Envy's ass.
All right. Well, Envy laying the gauntlet down to who? I'm not sure, but it sounds like Chris is picking it up. Oh man!
So
All right.
Do we have an idea of what the range is supposed to be for, putting people into these slots?
In terms of like notoriety, roster talent,
like you know how they break us into each, we'll say showdown room.
Okay.
And perfect example, I'm 13.9 million roster talent. The lead guy in my room, if I look at his roster right now, is at 19 million.
Okay.
So that's like a 6 million talent difference. Now Shell was like, yeah, most of her people are all around the same thing. I just quickly just looked and I was like, all right, well maybe I missed something. So then when I looked and the guy who I know finished first, I'm like, yo, that's 6 million roster talent difference.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I guess what the drivers are in regards to how people get placed in which buckets. I don't think anybody knows what they are, to be honest. It's a little odd, to put it kindly. I'm really uncertain.
Yeah, I always thought it was just random, so I kind of left it at that. But then when Shell said that, I was like, all right, well maybe I'll look and see.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I truly don't know. I wish I did, because then I'd be able to kind of explain it to people that are curious, but I'm at a loss as to what the drivers are in regards to what buckets people get placed in. It seems random to me, at least, where people get placed bucket wise. It could be some magic like mumbo jumbo, or they might just pull in different random players that are in some type of a range. Like you said, right? Like 5 million up or down from whatever the average talent is of the bucket or something. Like, I have zero clue and zero understanding of what it is. that would drive people to get pulled into the buckets. Like for me, I didn't think I was in too crazy of a bucket any of the times that I played this new top of the card showdown thing. I feel like a lot of the people that were in my buckets probably saw my name and were like, oh boy, not this guy. I didn't really experience the opposite. So I'm not really sure, honestly. I don't know. And I don't think it's been talked about or posted anywhere either, for that matter, for there to be like an actual answer or public opinion or something like that. Yeah, I'm at a loss. Anything else in terms of our showdown weekend? Or are we moving on? All right, let's move on. So, we got something interesting going on here. That's the nice way to put it. There's a new dev diary out, which I'm sure a lot of you have probably noticed. There's a lot of these new dev diaries that are getting posted. I got to commend them for trying to do a solid job in communicating with us. But the dev diary is titled, "So We Know You Expected 7-Star, ... And it starts out with letting you know right away, a lot of you have been expecting a ceiling raise, and we want to be straight with everybody here. 7-star is not happening right now. Instead, there's something they think is better. And so they discuss the new hype system. There are claims that it gives control and stat impacts and roster flexibility. And apparently how hype is going to reward players who think more about their entire roster and strategize more instead of just looking to do pure damage. There are new stats that are going to take place on the superstars that we have on our roster, which are going to influence the starting turn, total damage, defense, and kick-out efficiency. And there's a bunch of random stuff that is going on that I just don't have an understanding on, right? Like when it says that there's unlockable tiers and wild card hype points and a feud war score reward when your own hyped up superstar loses on defense, I don't understand the majority of that. And that's coming from me, and I, not to like spoil anything, B-Rock himself asked me a little bit about this before we started recording the podcast. So I'm at a loss, but what we can do is we can gauge everybody's outlook in regards to what they expect is going to happen. Because there's no 7-star, this seems to be replacing 7-star. I'm interested to hear what a lot of people are thinking about this. On top of that, also something else that is mentioned here, Hall of Fame tokens are going to be extinct, and that every character is going to start using regular tokens instead of the Hall of Fame separation of tokens, which I think is the biggest takeaway from this whole thing, because that's what people are understanding. And hopefully a skill plate filter is coming into the game soon. I have no idea why we needed a filter. It should have just been alphabetized, would have been fine. And the entourage search function should have been the priority, but neither here nor there. That's our dev diary. So let's I guess talk. And I mean, I don't really know how much everyone's gonna say. Like was kind of brought up right before we went live. What are we thinking about this hype system? And you know what, B-Rock, I'm gonna kick it to you first, because you're the one that brought this up to me prior to us recording. So, what are your thoughts on hype the new system.
We can call it whatever it is. You can call it Crazy Train. You can call it, Envy's top 10 boxes. It doesn't matter what you call it. You haven't given us what it is
Right.
or how it's going to work. So I'm sitting here and um, I'm looking at it, and I brought it up because there's a there's a real feeling, and I call it champions fatigue, and it's something that's come across my faction. I've seen it in other factions that I've been dealing with, where we're getting kind of bogged down with a lot of stuff. Here in the United States, it's the summertime. So, you're getting 5 to 7 tours to do and things like that. Me personally, I think, for the day-to-day stuff, it should take no more than 30 minutes to kind of get your stuff done. But we're seeing people who are just like, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. And the reason why I'm asking that is like, okay, well, maybe it's just something that will drive more engagement, get some more positivity going for the game and what we do day to day. We're seeing people leave factions in droves. Um, I have rarely seen, and I'm just going to throw a couple names out there. I have rarely seen recruitment from TNM. In the last, TNM's been what, 5 years deep now?
We've
Wow, how
been.
long y'all been?
Yeah. We reopened about 2020. Yeah.
Okay, so about 5 years deep. So in 5 years deep, I've rarely seen TNM recruit. In the last 5 years, I've rarely seen Haven recruit. Not the Haven family, but Haven itself. I have rarely seen Woken, but now all of a sudden you're seeing recruitment from top 5, top 10 factions, and it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's happening for us to start to see that people are like, yeah, it's not, either it's not worth playing, or I don't want to have to. You know, it's starting to feel like a full time job. It's kind of tongue in cheek for my faction, because we don't want it to be a full time job. It's supposed to be fun.
Right.
It's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be these things, and I think that having to go in and do the things that um, are issued out every day is something that I guess maybe is bogging people down during the summertime. People want to be outside. Somebody told me, "Hey, it's the summertime. I'm out in my pool. I'm with my kids. I'm not going to spend an hour on Champions."
Right.
So I'm just wondering, can we get some more insight to what hype is, or what the new format is? I know that they're probably still working on it, and if you're still working on it, that's fine. But don't release "this is coming" and not give us anything.
Yeah. The lack of information, I think, is what's hitting most people the hardest.
Yeah, it's like, hey, hurry up and get hyped up.
Right, but
But
for
wait.
what?
But wait, stay in your lane. Hold on, we'll let you know when we let you know.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted that aspect, because I'm saying here, like, maybe I can help people who are in this mindset of this is what it is today. I got to do 6 tours, and I got to do my 12 showdown, or whatever it is.
Yeah, the I don't even want to say the expectations, but the changes that are inevitably going to take place. It's tough, right? When it tells you, like, we're even in the blog, it's like, hey, we're talking turn order and match control and survivability and build diversity. Like, what does any of that actually mean? Like, the only thing I think that is apparent about this whole situation is when they keep talking about turn control and they're talking about starting turn, that to me indicates like you're not going to go turn 1 anymore. Right? Like, turn 1 could be turn 1 for the opponent. Like, you could walk into a match and get hit and then lose because you're going up against somebody hyped up and you're not. Like, that, maybe that's just me, but that's how I'm viewing it right now. And I could be entirely wrong, but when they talk about turn order, that feels very much so like it. When I saw this new EO Sky, yes, she's got a very straightforward moveset with 3 moves, and then everything else with like her trap gems that you're expecting the opponents to break them and all this other type of stuff. Like, it feels almost like they're trying to now make characters with this future hype system, you know, in thought of like, well, if I'm not going to be turn 1, maybe I can counter somebody and then put these trap gems out there, and then I have to force my opponent to break some trap gems so I can control the match, and then when I get back to my second turn, which is really going to be turn 4, like, yeah, then I can win then. And so I'm not really like, and look, again, I could be totally wrong because I don't know what's what's going on. And I don't think anybody else does either. But as a replacement for 7-star, do we think that this is like that this is a good thing? Do we think that this is a bad thing? Like, do we have any understanding? And I'm curious also from your point of view, B-Rock, like, do you think that this is a good replacement to 7-star?
So right now, I can't answer that. I don't think 7-star would have been the answer. You know, I think that if there is a change, that's fine. If we're going to implement something new into the game, that's fine. I think you've always heard me say I love the fact that when we get new characters, like new people who have not been in the game anymore, that's something that I'm somebody who enjoys that, and I look forward to that. The more individualized people that I have access to in the game, I enjoy. Yes, King Kong Bundy is a train wreck as a champ, but at the same time, it was enjoyable to get somebody new who's not been in the game before. So anything new, I think, is for the most part a good thing. I think Scopely is trying to be more innovative with giving us new stuff. The 30 days of Speed Tour, that might be like a top 7 thing that they've done. So if we're
top 7, you said.
Oh yeah, for an average player, you know, you got people who would never get Nia Jax. You got people who would never have gotten Solo.
Okay.
You know, there were champs coming out of those boxes that, you know, somebody said that one of the people in my faction, they got 17 new champs out of 30 days. And they got them at 5-star. So that helped the free-to-play market. That helped, you know, a lot of things. That's why I said, you know, that 30 days was amazing as a whole.
Right.
Now I know for somebody like yourself, you had all of them already, so you were just collecting shards.
Sure.
But I'm talking about some of the, if you had a 7 million, 8 million roster, you may not like. I got two people. I got Naya and I got Solo out of it, just myself. Other people were talking about they got Sheamus. No, matter of fact, didn't you get Fatu?
I ended up getting Samu on the first day, and then didn't get
Samu.
anything
Okay.
since. But yeah, I got Samu.
So even you got somebody that you didn't have out of it.
Well, no, I had him, but he was very rare.
Oh, okay. All right, I didn't. Sorry,
You're good.
I forget. I've only visited the penthouse once.
Oh my
But,
god, here we go.
I think that if hype is coming, and that's something that's gonna reinvigorate people with their gameplay and reinvigorate people's engagement, I think all of that's going to be great. We just need give us a little bit of information, because right now we don't know what you mean, or not you, but what Scopely means.
Correct.
We don't know what Scopely means at the moment when they say this stuff. So that leads everybody to speculation, and that doesn't really help. So I think that's kind of, if they can get a little bit, even if it's like, hey, we're gonna have some more information coming in the next week. Cool. That gives some people like a timeline saying, okay, here it is.
Right. But yeah, right now seems like we're at an unknown.
So I think it's hurry up and wait. That's kind of what it is. It's hurry up and wait.
Shell, are you around for your hype thoughts?
I'm here.
Talk to me about your thoughts on whatever's going on with hype.
I don't really have any thoughts because
Yep.
you guys have pretty much mentioned it. No, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Okay. Yeah.
So, sorry, gotta keep it simple. I'm reserving judgment. I'm not gonna be oh, this is terrible. This is the end of the game coming. Blah blah blah. I'll wait and I'll see and I'll patiently wait. Actually, I'll patiently wait for your video explaining when we have the information at hand.
You're gonna wait for my video to explain it.
Exactly. No, but listen, I don't care. I've been playing this game since day one, and I have never had anyone explain things as succinctly and as clearly as you do, Bob. And I say that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I appreciate that tremendously so. Hopefully, I will be able to understand what hype does and help you out also. Because right now I think we're all at an impasse.
Just wait.
Any thoughts on the fact that we're not getting 7-star and we're replacing it with hype? Obviously, I know that we don't know what hype is, but and any thoughts about that this is going to be a good or a bad thing that we're not getting a new rarity, but we're getting this new.
Like I said, I am reserving judgment.
Okay.
I think that they're trying something new, and I'm always willing to give it a chance.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to stay positive for once.
All right. Sounds good. Envy, talk to me. Are you hyped, my friend?
So there's a delicate dance you gotta play when you say things are about to come. Because if you say it too soon and you have to wait, people just get tired and stop, and then it's weird. And then if you say it at the last minute, bad things happen. So what I'm getting at is, I don't know where we're going, but I didn't really expect 7-star anyway. It was just kind of it just didn't feel like 7-star was on the horizon. This token drought is real. But hype, if we can make gender better just off the jump, I'm with it. So
Envy.
if I can hype gender up so that he's out here doing even more work, let's get it.
Envy, dude.
Oh man, I'm hype already.
Dude,
I'm hype already.
Dude, do not hype your gender up, for the love of God.
Yeah, we hyping him up all the way. We can get him all the way turned up. It's gonna be great out here. You just wait. Just wait.
Please, for the love of God, do not hype of all the people, because you know this isn't gonna be something that we get bucket loads of currency on. Like, do not hype up your fucking gender.
That's exactly why you do it, because people won't see it coming. They'll say, "Oh, there's gender right there." Then you're gonna be all hyped up and just put the work in. Let me tell you.
Oh
Woo!
my god. Okay, well, I don't think that's the way to go on this one, but you know, that's on Envy.
But also, I got more. So I did not like the change of the Hall of Fame thing. So, well, I guess I kind of do, but I don't. I liked having the Hall of Fame token special, and you could just kind of, because it felt like it was easy to level up Hall of Fame people.
Mhm.
But I didn't like how the newer Hall of Fame people didn't give you any credit for leveling them up and talent up. So it's kind of I'm glad that's going to normal tokens, so at least kind of be slightly more options in who you can level up and who you can take up and get points for. But other than that, I mean, I wish they switched to IOW as opposed to the Hall of Fame, because
Yeah,
those tokens impossible to come by.
yeah, I would have loved if they let us take our promoters up. That would have been fantastic. Like, hands down. Outside of that, Chris, interested to hear your side of this whole thing. Are you hyped?
So first, I just want to mention the speed tours. I think
Oh,
I'm the
sure.
only one who didn't pull Naya from them.
I didn't.
Like everyone else did. You probably already have her though.
I do.
Yeah, I do not. That was just who I wanted. I just could not get that one person, so I had to sit through an entire month of every day people posting new Nia Jax pulls. And I just never got her. It was very sad. In terms of hype, though, the way I am taking it is it sounds like they're adding more RPG elements to the game. And I've been played RPGs my whole life. I'm a humongous nerd. It just sounds like that's sort of what they're doing, is adding more RPG-like elements to the game. Whether or not it's going to be better than 7-star, I do give them credit for at least doing something different than, just making 7-star and increasing, making this a move damage era or a gem damage era, same old, same old. But whether or not it's truly a success, it's just going to come down to implementation, and we unfortunately do not have the full information for that to even begin to really determine whether or not it's going to be a failure. They just really haven't given us anything other than, hey, here's this shiny new system that we're going to implement. What it does and how it's going to work, you're pretty much going to figure it out when we give it to you at this point.
Right. Yeah, it's seeming real interesting to put it kindly. I as everybody else, I'm gonna try to hold and reserve my judgment on this. I don't expect personally, I don't have very high hopes for this. To just be very candid on the surface, I don't have much hope in store for this. It seems like they are trying to make some drastic changes. I don't like the idea that you're getting rewarded for losing with a character on defense. Seems super odd. I don't know. I don't know what the real answer is with this system. Maybe by the time that we have the next podcast, we'll have some more information on it. But as of right now, it seems pretty non-existent in terms of the information about it, which is honestly to me more concerning than anything else. It's been over a week that they've come out with this information of hey, we're not having 7-star, we're doing this hype thing. We've already decided what it's going to be, but we're not telling you anything about it. To me, it almost feels like they're trying to hide what it's going to actually be. Which is more concerning, I think, than whatever it might actually end up being. I'm very hesitant about this because when push comes to shove, whatever it is, there's going to need to be a massive UI overhaul in order to tell what the difference is between a hyped up character and a non-hyped up character. If you're just going to fight a 6-star gold and you have no idea if he's hyped up or not, you're going to be shit out of luck if you find out that he is. for whatever, bonuses they give, whether it's the fact that he's going to go first, or he's going to have better control of the board, or that he's going to have crazy defense or be able to kick out of anything. Like, the concept of that really concerns me in terms of like Showdown and the implications of Showdown energy. What happens when I need to get my CSS done? What happens when I need to get my fights in feud? What happens like in a blitz, right, where you have limited tickets and limited tries and attempts? That's where it concerns me. If it's a tour, sure, so be it, right? Like, you'll learn how to get through a tour. But if you have to feud against somebody who has 3 hyped up characters in the lineup and you ain't got none and there's 0 chance of winning, that's not good. If you have to get your CSS fights in a feud, which is what I've been setting up in the background while we're doing the podcast, is my feud lineup. Trying to see who I'm going to be able to get fights in and wins in with. If none of these characters are hyped up on my account, like, I'm going to be shit out of luck. When Hall of Fame era female comes around again, like, I'm not going to hype up my Hall of Fame Molly Holly. That's not going to be my go-to character for any game mode. The only reason she is because she's, on my account, the best Hall of Fame female that I have access to. But that's it. Legend Mommy Rhea Ripley, right? Like, she's great, but is she going to be my hyped up character? Like, hell no, right? There's no incentive to do that outside of just doing the feud CSS. So it gives me concern in regards to what the implications are going to be. I really don't like the idea that, like, if I lose a Showdown match because somebody's hyped up and I don't know that they're hyped up, it just feels like there's a lot of information missing. And they even mentioned, right, like, it's not a 5% bonus. Like, well, if you're making it seem like it's going to be way more than a 5% bonus, then obviously we're going to need these characters hyped up. So it leaves me a large amount of concern as to what it's going to be like moving forward. This doesn't feel like it's going to be for everybody. This feels like it's going to be for a lot of the top-end players and or spenders in the game. And building an even wider gap or variance between everybody and the top of the top end is typically not very healthy for a game. Again, we have no idea what it's going to be. I'm going to try my best to reserve judgment until then. But as of now, like, it doesn't seem, based on the information they're giving us, it doesn't really seem like it's going to be that well received. So that's our hype talks, which definitely went a little bit longer than I think B-Rock expected it to. Also, yeah, I mean, they got rid of Hall of Fame tokens. I guess both the original and the Hall of Fame golds are going poof. And we're just going to get regular tokens, and I guess they're reimbursing our existing Hall of Fame tokens. I have no idea how that's going to work. People spent on those tokens, like, spent solid money on those tokens. So I have zero understanding of how that's going to take place. I have a good chunk of Hall of Fame tokens. I could probably take up just about every Hall of Famer on my account. I don't like the idea that I'm most likely not going to be able to take them all up with the tokens thereafter. So I'm kind of not really thrilled with whatever the exchange rate is going to be. To me, this feels like a way of them getting rid of an extra asset in their game, and something that they have to concern themselves with, like when Hall of Famers come out, that they have to put these Hall of Fame tokens in, and they just want to make it simple and streamlined, where it's like, hey, you know what? Technician Hall of Fame, it's Technician tokens, period. I'm done with making these Hall of Fame tokens. We didn't need Tier 1 Hall of Fame tokens, Tier 2 Hall of Fame tokens, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, 6-star, and then the gold ones, 4 and 5 and 6. Like, I get it. It's a lot of extra pointless assets for them. But I don't want it to feel like everyone's getting hurt in the process with the transition. But with the history of the game, that's typically what it is when they convert those tokens over. And then, again, very briefly, there's a skill plate filter apparently in the works. I don't think anyone's ever asked for a filter on skill plates. It literally just needed to be alphabetized or in an order or some way that they can just group their skill plates together. I don't care about a gem damage increase skill plate or a move damage increase skill plate or a gem defense decrease skill plate. I don't care about any of that. I will figure that out when I click on the skill plate as I scroll through it. I feel like the amount of time invested and dev resources dumped into this is a complete waste compared to just making it a simple sort instead of a sort and filter and all this other stuff. This time could have most certainly been used on the entourage. Everyone's been asking for an entourage filter. The entourage filter needs to happen. And if it's not an entourage filter, just put in the search bar. Yes, I get it. 650 superstars is a lot for most people to remember exactly what they do. But if I were to ask anybody in here, what does George the Animal Steel do? Everybody knows he gives 4 green MP. Period. Does everybody know what King Kong Bundy's trainer or coach is? Probably not. But once they use it once, they'll remember to search him up moving forward. Does everybody know what Santa Hogan's trainer or coach is? Everybody knows what Santa Hogan's coach is. So for the ones that you're looking for, yeah, a search function would be fantastic. Or even if it was a favorites function where it's like, hey, these entourage characters I want at the top of my list or on everybody's list, like that would be great. And that I think would have been better suited in terms of dev resources. But I don't know. That's my thoughts on our dev diary. Anybody else on the diary, whether it's the Hall of Fame tokens, the skill plate filter, or the lack of 7-star? If you want to speak on that now, let me know and get your thoughts out. Otherwise, we'll move forward to this weekend. All right, let's get to the weekend then. So this weekend we have the Summer Slammed feud. It is the release, the introduction of the Genius of the Sky, Io Sky. She is in the game. I would be very happy to show everybody on the YouTube playback that are listening to this later on just exactly what it is that she looks like. But just for argument's sake, I will go ahead and click her so you can see just how awesome she works and just how smooth her graphics and whatnot are. She's super cool and ease of transition. You can definitely click all the buttons on her screen without having any lag or experiencing any issues, as you can tell here. No, she's obviously horrible for the emulators. Some people have said she's okay for the Portal, even though the Portal is still Jurassic levels of slowness. She'll work on your phone, which is fine, but this is another one of those Americano situations, another one of those Tiffy with gear situations, another one of those Bull Nakano situations where the character just does not play nice with the emulator, which is where a lot of people play their games and where a lot of content creators do their content. So very frustrating experience for a lot of us, and I'm sure a lot of you out there that may get her and only play on emulators, because there are people that exclusively play on the emulator. So very frustrating experience there. Nevertheless, new Genius of the Sky, Io Sky, is in the game. She is an S+ tier character. She is a 5,000 shard recruit. We do have a 5-week MLC, so this is feud number 2, not number 3. It is a 20-hour female feud. And there's a decent chunk of stuff on the prize wall this weekend in terms of shards. So lots and lots and lots of shards of very high tier characters. As Envy has pointed out, there are Kamala shards on the prize wall as well. There are WCW Austin shards on the prize wall. The new moment that we were just discussing from the prior week's showdown is on the prize wall. And just a metric buttload of shards, whether it's Muda or Howdy or Jacqueline or Mommy's on Top or Penta or whoever. There's a good chunk of who's who of shards on this prize wall. I think when the prize wall's worst character is either Jade Cargill or Hall of Fame Beefcake, you're looking at a pretty stacked prize wall. There's also a green Piper plate on the prize wall as well. So a pretty solidly stacked weekend in terms of prizes and rewards. Wanted to hear what everybody's thoughts were on Io Sky herself as a new character, new fighter in the game. New interesting coach, which is 300% leech gem damage. I apologize for those that are watching on the YouTube playback, but I refuse to go back to that screen with the amount of lag just to show you. But that is what her coach is. Curious what everybody's thoughts are on her as a new character in the game, and what is everybody looking forward to this weekend? Chris, kick us off.
We'll say in terms of Io herself, I haven't watched too much, simply because I really only watched your video and it wasn't working well. Seemed to be some portal problems, but just going over him, she seems fine. Seems like a decent character, so I'm good with that. In terms of people getting, another version of themselves in the game, Io is one who definitely needed one, because it's been like 3 years since Io or something.
Been around 2.5 years, I think.
Yeah, so she was due for an update, especially with damage control gone. Her coach is great, that 300% leech generators. I think it's good to see that sort of thing. I hope they have more of those for other types of gems, because I know we have some, I think hers is the highest. I don't think we've had one at 300.
Yeah.
We've had some 200s, but I don't remember any 300s.
Yeah, she is the first of her kind at 300, that is for sure.
And then in terms of the feud itself, it's a regular, old feud. It's just the same one we've always had, just, we started the month with a male, now we're doing a female, and then we'll do flash feuds in 2 weeks. The prize wall is great. That is, I will say, that's assuming there is a decent amount of medallions available. On its face, though, it looks really great, but I know we've had some prize walls before where they look really great on their face, and then when we actually go through it, the medallions are just nowhere to be seen. I'm hoping this isn't the case. Usually for these, you're going to get at least a decent amount. So I'm hopeful for that. But what I'm going for the moment. I didn't get the evolution moment during the showdown, so I'm hopeful to get that this weekend. Otherwise, if you're close on a lot of people. There are so many shards out there that hopefully you can get at least a new person this weekend. So I have decent hopes. I'm not going to say high hopes, because whenever I say I'm going to get high hopes for something, it just comes crashing down in this game. So I'm going to say I have decent hopes for this weekend. It'll turn out well for everyone.
Here's hoping. Shell, talk to me. Thoughts on the genius of the sky and the prize wall?
Well, I feel kind of similar to Chris in the aspect of Io definitely deserves this new remake. She actually, and I don't usually look at characters or watch videos before I get them, but she actually looks pretty cool. I could see that. The prize wall itself, it looks good. I'm excited to get that moment. I will make sure I get that moment. But it definitely looks easily, at least for me, easily attainable. I have all the CSS minus EO.
Yep.
So I should be able to get in and, do some feuding. Thankfully, one of my closest friends in the faction was helping me last night set my feud lineup.
Yeah, huge shout out to HJ.
Yeah. Never forget HJ. Yeah. No, seriously, I honestly, without you two, I don't think I would still be playing this game. I would be just insanely frustrated most of the time. You guys are always so patient, and you make it understandable. So, shout out to you.
That's the goal. I mean, hey, look, that might not be a horrible idea to do the whole feud clinic thing. I might not be streaming as much, but Maybe that's a good thing that we can do post podcast when we all go and hang out and kick it in the general chat. If people want, I can help them out with a little feud clinic. I know B-Rock has been asking about that for a while. You know what, B-Rock? How's that sound? You wanna do a little feud clinic post podcast?
Absolutely, we could do it.
There you go.
I've gone to the school of True Bob and Flo, so I have. I even started my own internal one, but people don't listen, so we're just gonna leave that alone. Just
Talk to me,
people
B-Rock.
understand. Math be mathin'. Math be mathin'. There's no reason for fodder anymore. There's no reason.
Yeah. The
Why are
fathers.
you putting Star Ryback in your feud lineup? It doesn't make any sense. You're just giving away points to somebody else.
Yep. Yeah, especially nowadays. Might as well just run a 4-man lineup and call it quits instead of trying to force a 7-man lineup with 2
There it
fathers.
is. It's like, hey, just do a turn and burn.
Mhm.
If you only just do turn and burn, that's your 3 or your 4, and call it a day. That way, you're in and out, and you're in and out in less than 10 minutes. But I don't know
Most
now.
of us are in and out less than 10 minutes with a 7-man lineup. You're the slow one here.
The only thing that you see, just to be completely transparent, Chris catches me when I gotta use CSS. When I don't have to use CSS, I can do a 7-man lineup and I'm out of there in 13, 14 minutes. And no, I don't have the double XP, whatever, or the double speed.
Neither
But
do I.
all my
But I want to point out 13 to 14 minutes, more than 10.
Well, no, it's 10 for 4 for people in our faction who have lower rosters. You can do a turn and burn for less than 10 because some people don't have all the feud promoters, things like that. That's why I said that. But yeah.
So talk to me, V-Rock. Talk to me about the SummerSlam feud weekend, the prize wall, the EO. What are we thinking?
I have a question, and maybe you can help me understand.
Yeah.
Are we missing El Grande shards? Am I the only one that's missing? Is there not? Does it seem like there's a shortage comparable to other months?
Well, this is also a 5-weeker instead of a 4-weeker.
Okay.
So that might be part of it.
So we're thinking that it's just going to be projected out, and they're going to kind of split it out for however long over the entire month.
I mean, how many shards are you at?
Oh, I am. Give me 1 second.
Well, whenever you figure that out, you let me know.
I was literally in the middle of a match, and it's just cascading forever.
Also, B-Rock, how many shards did you miss while you were on vacation?
I think I only missed the one set, which I think is 80. I think I only missed the one set from the showdown. And how many was that? Bob, was that 80?
You mean the midweek showdown?
The midweek showdown, not the midweek showdown. The
like the Lex
what is
Luger
it,
one.
Stars and Stripes? Yeah.
That's like, I think that's 180.
Okay. So 180 is what I would be missing. But I will say I did some kind. I got a box that had his shards in it, which helped out because I don't think that was expected. But okay, so I'm looking right now, and I have
Dun, 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 dun. No, a little too early. Yeah, a little too early.
I tried to type El Grande in there and it didn't work. So. There we go. So right now I'm at 1705.
Okay, so yeah, you're quite a ways away. That being said, if you had the 180, you would be over 1800, and if you were over 1800 heading into weekend 3, and we were averaging 600 shards every single week, then you'd be right on track.
Okay, so I'm just the one contest away then. Okay.
Yeah, you're still on track to get there.
Okay. I was just curious because I was looking at it, I'm like, all right, with this weekend, is there going to be opportunity to get any from feud? I know it's a women's feud. I know that, I'm kind of excited for us to get EO. She's in ring. She's fantastic. So I'm super excited to get it. Plus, with her new gear that she debuted the other night. I think Envy called it all cheeks out gear. I think that was a plus when she was on SmackDown. So I think that she's going to be very entertaining, and I think she's going to be one that people want to go ahead and grab. She is a trickster, so I think we've gone heavy trickster, heavy showboat. Would love to see. I think we had a brief stint there where we had a run of good strikers with Naomi and Nia. So we need to bolster the tech bit a little bit, because our last female tech was Rhea, and I'm not Rhea, excuse me, Liv, and she's not that great.
She's good enough to get the job done, but yeah, I know she's not a fan of everybody.
She's not that great.
A fan favorite, I should say.
She's good, but she's not great. And then Powerhouse, was it Raquel? Is the last one after the?
No, Abby the Witch, right?
Is it Abby? Because you had Raquel. Well, I guess it would be Raquel got transitioned to be better once we released Devil's Yeet.
Yeah, I think. Technically, the most recent Powerhouse female is Bull Nakano. But yeah, before that was Abby the Witch. For Powerhouses, so it's been pretty locked down. So we've had Zombie Chelsea, Abby the Witch, and then Bull Nakano. So before Bull Nakano, our last Powerhouse female was from 2024, and then so yeah, we've had Liv, but we also have Jacqueline for female techs. So I know that she's not the cheapest, so to speak, but she does exist. Liv is okay, Molly's okay, and then obviously Jacqueline is fairly good. Powerhouse, I think, is the one that is very locked down. When we've had, this is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 Powerhouse females since the start of 2024. And we are halfway through the year of 2025. So it's been 19 months so far, and we've had 4 Powerhouse females, which is,
and we don't have that on the men's side. If you look at it on the men's side, we don't have this gaping timeline from a good person for each class. It's weird.
Not whatsoever. You can look in the past couple of months and have a good from each class for almost every era, for that matter, but a pretty much solid character for each class. So yeah, it's tough. I think that she's good to me, right? And I guess I'll put my 2 cents in here. She's good. I don't really love EO in this game personally. The old EO was not fantastic. The new EO is, she's okay, and she is definitely needed in terms of we needed to get more trickster females based on that timeline that B-Rock's talking about, right? We had 1 in 24, which was Hall of Fame Tori, so beginning of the year. We had another one, which was Canadian Trish. Those were the 2 trickster females that got released in that year. And then we had Twisted Bliss, Judgment Day Raquel, and now Io Sky in recent months. So definitely helpful that we're getting more of them, but I also think that trickster female is just fine. Dakota's fantastic still. We got a revamped Rhea Ripley. Oblivion Lives still kicks ass. The new Twisted Bliss is very, very solid. Io's good, and I could see how there's going to be an argument for her being top 3 in class, and some people are going to say that she's number 1. I don't think she's number 1 even by a long shot. Yes, her numbers are cool, and her damage is cool, and her gameplay is different, but the idea that you have to use 3 things that are very easily countered nowadays is a concern. NP gain is something that, maybe not everybody can counter, but is counterable. Trap Gems is in every single one of her movesets. She counters herself. She counters Trap Gems, and if you use EO, any of her movesets use Trap Gems. Any and every single moveset of EO's uses Trap Gems. So you can't fight EO against EO. Or against the freebie Bex that we all just got this month, because she also counters Trap Gems. And then she uses multi-gems. And there are multi-gems counters out there. There's the sing-song, right? Indie Tiffy Zombie Live is something that we all joke about at TNM. And now you can add Jacqueline into the mix too. Those are just reversals, but there are also multi-down coaches. So I don't really like how easily EO is countered. If you don't counter her, then yeah, she's fantastic. But I'm not really thrilled with the idea that it's like, man, I got to look out for MP gain and trap generate and multi-generate and multi-gem down. And then, okay, I passed all the bars. Cool, now I can use her. Like, no, it's kind of whack, right? Like, Twisted Bliss, all you got to make sure is you don't fight a trap user or a trap reversal character. Like, that's it. You put traps out and you swipe, or you put traps out and you hit the finisher, and that's all that there is to it. Live is don't fight somebody who counters gem increase, because nobody counters color turns. Put color turns out and you turn them red and you win. This is like, okay, I'm going to get MP, I'm going to put traps out, I'm going to put multis out, and then I got to convert them all. Like, this is just so much potential for getting screwed over. And that's what I don't like about her. She's good, but I don't think that she's the number 1 that a lot of people are trying to make her out to be. Envy, your thoughts on Io Sky and the SummerSlam feud weekend?
Well, of course, I watched your video,
Yeah.
and then I went out and I said, my trickster's kind of light. I don't really like using my tricksters, although I like using Chelsea, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so I said, let's see what happens if we do Omega. And nothing happened. So we said, let's see if we do 2 more, and then the next Mega we get her, and all the bad decisions happen. So disregard all the bad decisions happen. I got her. I used her, and I only took her up 6-star bronze. So I used her, and I remember that make 'em bleed is the motto that I live by. So we're bleeding people out all weekend. It's gonna be a bloody mess. Me and EO out here in these streets, bleeding people out. And I like how she has the move dodge. So I like a move dodge on the finish. I'd say if you kick out, try to hit me with something. That's what I want to see. So it's gonna be good times. and if she gets countered, whatever. But people, the EO, you might not put a counter in. People like me don't even have a counter in, so you can face my EO and not get countered with the traps. If you can hit a move.
If you get it a move.
But yeah, I'm excited about this weekend. I'm excited about Fear. I'm excited about making it happen. I got all the CSS this weekend, so it's gonna be a CSS festival, and we're gonna beat them down. I'm gonna put it on video, and what else do we got? And I'm really chasing after those 600 Viscera shards. So I'll be happy with 300. I mean, yeah, whatever the guy is. Come on, all the shards. Come on, at least I didn't call him Abdul the Butcher this time. I'm really in a bad spot with this guy. Yeah, come on. So we're gonna get it out. We're gonna make it happen. And if I get 300, great. If I get 600, great. I kind of want one of those, another one of the green Piper plates, but I'm gonna have to pass. Gonna have to pass if I could get Viscera. So
Kamala.
we're gonna keep on. Whatever. Kamala. If I get Kamala, let's stay focused. If I get Kamala, then we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah. When you get Abdullah the Butcher, it's gonna be a great day.
Yeah. Shame on me for naming all the black guys and saying they're all liking the game. That is a horrible representation on my behalf. I need to do better.
God. That was great.
So I'm just gonna let it go. Cause I'm not gonna call him whatever I would call him right now. I'm just gonna say the new guy from last month.
Yeah. When you get that guy.
Yeah, get that guy.
Well, I wish you luck in getting that guy.
I'm gonna try.
Just call him Rick Ross's daddy.
All right. Well, anybody else on anything else from the weekend, whether it's EO Sky or the prize wall, before we get on to our finale point of the podcast? Going once, going twice, and sold to our final point. We kind of talked on this a little bit earlier, where B-Rock was talking about his Americano shards. I kind of wanted to talk to everybody about what they think on the MLC as a whole. So we got the Unleash the Heat MLC. We are 3 weeks in right now. Does it feel like it is rewarding enough? Does it feel like it's not rewarding enough? Does it feel like you're going to get Becky for free? Americano for free? Is this better or worse than last month, where we got Bundy and Michelle McCool for free? And then we have a couple of midweeks things to talk about. We had 8 consistent days of Showdown from week 2 to week 3. We did briefly talk about the Showdown over the weekend, but we didn't talk about the Showdown before or after that, which was Goldberg's last spear, and then the Faction Showdown event, where we could all get Lex's gold gear, a botch plate, a green botchman plate. So lots of showdowns, and more showdowns to go over. Wanted to know what are our general thoughts on the month so far. Shell, let's get you to start out on this one. Curious to hear your outlook on this.
Too much showdown.
Too much showdown.
Overall, the month so far, just, I don't know, it's just kind of like, it's all blending together, I think, especially with all the showdowns.
Okay.
I did enjoy the faction one. Just so happens that, like, you know, my faction was the first faction to max, because, you know, we have Bob and B&M who were just fucking insane, knocking out the CSS.
I mean,
and I did like that was definitely, you know, we had the CSS, we had the grinders, and it was definitely doable without, you know, having to spend an insane amount.
Yeah, I mean the midweek showdown for week 3. I mean it was pretty good. If you want to leave feedback on that, it's cool too. Anything else that your thoughts are on the monthly as a whole?
I don't know. Like I said, as a whole, it all seems to be kind of blending together with Showdown. Too much. Like even this weekend, I know I'm not the only one, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, it should be a Flash weekend." And it's like, no, it's not a Flash weekend. It's another 20-hour weekend.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. Actually, somebody hopped into the voice chat and was like, "Why do I feel like it's Flash feuds?" And it's like, well, because it's a 5-week MLC. That's kind of why. So yeah, it's got an odd feeling to it. But
Not bad. Not bad. Just
just
like
different.
you said, it's just yeah.
Is it feeling like the month is going on too long? Does it feel like it's not gone on enough?
I think 5 weeks always feel like they're going too long sometimes. Most of the time.
Gotcha.
Because it feels like it starts to drag out at a certain point.
So, all right, fair enough. Let's ask around. Let's ask around the table. What are the general consensus and thoughts of the monthly so far? Are we liking it? Are we not liking it? Chris, let's hear from you on this one. What's your thoughts on the Unleash the Heat MLC so far?
I guess now it's my turn to say, like, I have a lot of agreement with Shell. Usually it's the other way around. Usually she's agreeing with me. But it's too much Showdown. Like, I'm not one of the people that hates Showdown, but man, there is just a time where it gets old after a while. We've been doing too much Showdown. And I like the new, I do actually like the new brackets and the rewards and all that, but holy crap, you don't need to implement, this one new thing, and then we just got to run it into the ground right away. I think it's burning a lot of people out, having to do all these showdowns back to back to back to back.
Kind of feels like that's playing into the apathy that B-Rock was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the reasons. Also, I like the characters more this month than last month. As much as I liked getting Bundy and Michelle McCool, because they're brand new people. Bundy sucked, and I don't feel like either of the new characters this time, El Grande and Becky, either of them suck. They're both very good.
Right.
So I think that part's an improvement. Would I have liked to have someone different than Becky, because Becky has 30 characters in the game? Yes, but at least she's good, as opposed to a Bundy who I am never going to touch unless he is a CSS.
Right. Yeah.
And kind of sad to say for a brand new character.
Yeah. No one's gonna do anything with Bundy. It reminds me of when Jesse Ventura came out. Jesse the Body Ventura. He was a freebie character. A lot of people were thrilled to see his name, and then immediately once his character came out, everybody's like, "Oh," and there goes all the hype for it, just because. Who the hell wants to use that guy?
And then I do think I don't think we've gotten to the part that's going to really determine, whether this month is a good month or not. Because I think that's going to come down to what is likely going to be the Christmas in July.
You're figuring we got Santa coming back is what you're figuring.
I mean, people always, look forward to the events with Santa Hogan, just because everyone wants to get him up. Now, will they do something where, we get maybe 100 Santa Hogan tokens and we need 1 million, and that otherwise you got to, pay out the ass for them? That is entirely possible, because that's normally how they've done it, but maybe they realize that Santa Hogan's value isn't what it used to be, so they, loosen the chains a little bit on him so more people can get him higher up. If they do that, I think a lot of people will consider it to be a success if we have a successful, Christmas in July. I'm assuming it'll be one of the week-long events yet to go.
Yeah,
I think that'll go a long way in determining. So I think the next podcast we do, which will be at the end of the month with Flash Views, I think we'll have our answer at that point, which obviously we have to because it's the end of the month. But I think the part that's really going to determine the month is also upcoming. So It's just a little bit early. This isn't a a month that starts out very strong, and is going to end quietly. I feel like it's more of a build-up. And obviously, I could be wrong. It could just be the same old throughout the entire month, and we just kind of get a meh month overall. But I'm hoping this is a build-up one.
It seems like there could be a strong Christmas in July event coming around the corner. When you look at the full month calendar, and I think we were looking at this before. On the 23rd is the middle of the week next week, and then there's typically a pretty long Christmas in July event. So there's potential for there to be a 12 days of Christmas. So from the 23rd all the way to the 4th is exactly 12 days, right? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the 23rd could be the start of an event, and the 4th, which would be the Monday, the very end of the MLC, which is typically Blitz Day, that could very well be the end of the 12 days of Christmas, so to speak. As for whether that is or is not going to happen, obviously I don't think anybody has any idea or any clue. That's just, speculation at this point. But I do agree with you that I feel like something's got to be down the pipeline in terms of a Christmas in July event. And I'm hopeful that they do realize that Santa isn't the market that he once was. Hopefully they can, loosen the chokehold, I should say, that they've had on his tokens, and can allow people to kind of boost him up a little bit more. The flat numbers essentially are, I don't want to say useless, but next to nothing nowadays in today's day and age of the game when you're talking about trying to do close to 100 million damage. 12,000, even at 6-star bronze, is a nothing burger compared to hundreds of millions of damage. If you were trying to do a million damage, sure, but doing hundreds of millions of damage, no, that's not really that big of a deal. I think that most people just want him for the +1 MP, and even getting a little bit of a bonus after that in terms of flat gem damage. I don't think anyone's going to have any desire to spend for that, because he's good enough with the 1 MP as is. So yeah, I mean, interesting take. I don't know if I'm on board with the month hasn't been make or break yet, because it's all going to be based on the Santa side of things, but I could see it. Envy, let me know what your thoughts are on our Unleash the Heat MLC so far. What's your feeling headed into weekend 3 with
actually, Tubo, I do want to make one more comment.
Oh, go for it. Talk to me.
Just briefly, so there is the other thing to take into account. We're probably getting 2 new superstars the next couple of weekends. Depending on who they are, they could really add to the month as well.
Well, I mean, we got Io Sky this weekend. I don't know that we're getting... I mean, you think we're getting 3 hidden superstars? I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
I feel like if you're right about the Santa thing, and I think everybody's, expecting a Christmas in July thing. I think if you're right about the Santa thing, that EO is going to be this weekend, obviously. I think there was a leak about Coco Beware somewhere that he's probably going to be either week 4 or week 5. And I think Santa's going to fill up the other weekend, that they can try and get away with not needing to release 3 new characters, and they can still get away with only needing to release 2. But you never know. There could be another one in the pipeline. Envy, talk to me. Unleash the Heat.
So I've liked the month so far. I feel good about the idea of getting Lex when I complete the contest, which is kind of why I've been kind of hustling, trying to get this contest over with, so I can get him silver, so I can take him gold, and that's gonna be, I mean, it's good enough. And the free gear from the faction event was even better. I mean, that was special right there.
Yep.
Didn't see that coming.
Yep.
So I really like that. The silver gear cost some money. I wasn't gonna buy it, but we catch that next month's gear loot hopefully. So I got hope on that. Getting Becky for free, getting a Grande Americano for free. Don't know why they call him Chad Gable or whatever. And it's just been good. I mean, I got EO, Life's Well, might be getting Kamala. So great month for me. Didn't spend a whole lot on it this weekend. So we are gonna say this was a good month. And the showdown stuff. Oh boy. Like I said before, the bracket better watch out for that Natalie guy, because he is dishing out work.
So Envy loving the showdown, not hating it like everybody else.
Oh yeah, definitely.
B-Rock, give me your thoughts on the MLC before I'll take us home on the MLC thoughts side of things.
All right. This MLC is a little weird because, as you know, I was for the beginning of this month I was poolside Envy, so wasn't all in until just getting home. I missed an event here or there. I will say that it was a little weird because the question now is there going to be a third talent up for this month?
Yes.
So the tokens and resources that we're kind of blowing through to complete talent up, like this talent up, I didn't even do it. I did a couple, but I wasn't maxing out talent up, and I don't think I'm going to max out talent up again unless I get, if just say next week is Coco, which I will pull out the Scopely credit cards for Coco. I will pull for him. But overall, it's okay. I am one of them people who I actually enjoy 5-week MLCs majority of the time, because there's normally something. Scopely normally does something within a 5-week that kind of changes things up. And we may see that with the Christmas in July for Santa. So hopefully we do get something like that. So I think my overall thought process is still let's wait and see. I'm not, as much as I like EO, I'm not wailing out for EO. That's just not something I'm gonna do. But
is it because of the name or because of the fighter or what?
It's just, what, she's gonna be a good, trickster. She's gonna be a good. I have better. So and she doesn't hit the nostalgia box like a Coco would.
Gotcha.
So there's certain people who I'm gonna go out of my way for that are already in the game. I'm going to go out of my way for, Jey Uso. I'm going to go out of my way for specific, just people themselves. I'll go out of my way for.
Gotcha.
She doesn't, unfortunately, fit that. I wasn't a huge Penta fan. Even though he's really great, it was just like, okay. I'll get him when I get him.
Got it.
So it's got to touch, a nostalgia box for me, in order to say, hey, yeah, you know what, I want to make sure that I get this guy. Like if they were, and I know that this will never, ever, 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 ever happen in life, ever. But if somehow champions threw out and I'm saying this so everybody hears me, I know it's never going to happen, but I'm saying, if they threw out the Road Warriors, swipe until I get. Because that's a nostalgia thing. That's a nostalgia thing. When Mosh and Thrasher came out, that was a nostalgia thing. I was like, yeah, boom, I have them both to 6-star gold. Yes, they're friends of mine, but at the same time, they're in the game. I'm shooting off text messages like, "Yo, look at you," that type thing, to where it's like, yeah, I have to have them. So nostalgia thing.
Gotcha.
So the Coco one would be huge. That's kind of where it's kind of more of a wait and see.
Gotcha. So you'd rather invest in Coco than EO. That's understandable.
And he could be a worse fighter. He could be completely worse than she is. But
I'm expecting him to be the big hitter on the month personally.
But yeah, I'm just saying. But even if he's worse than she is, even if he's like his best setup is triple trap gens that each trap gen delivers MP for one. The other trap gem does multiply, and the other one is move damage. Whatever it is, he could be an absolute crap, champ. I'm still gonna say, you know what? I remember Coco coming out. I remember everybody with the Bret Hart shades and doing the bird flap. So because that's a nostalgia thing for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get him.
Right.
And if he's not an acro, there's something wrong in this world.
So, B-Rock, I got a question for you. Are you pulling for Coco himself or because of the parrot?
Both. And the problem is now that you said it, I can't remember the parrot's name, but it's all
Frankie.
good.
I was going to say the parrot has a name.
Frankie.
I couldn't remember it for a hot second, but yes, I would pull for Frankie too. Like, I want the Hornswoggle. Why do I want Hornswoggle? Because I think Hornswoggle is a hell of a character. I absolutely like Bark at the Moon, Hornswoggle. I have no interest whatsoever in Bark at the Moon. Hornswoggle.
So,
Hornswoggle.
what if they did the unthinkable and made Frankie a gear of Coco's?
Wailing out for the gear.
I mean, there was. I'm pretty sure there was a WrestleMania. Coco's gear.
Yeah.
Had this extravagant parrot.
Yep.
Colorful gear.
Yep.
So we've learned what makes B-Rock tick. It is not how good a character is. It is who the character is. All right.
Here's the thing. I can make a character good. I can make any character good enough. I have enough that I know this is some TNM. This is B-Rock from TNM coming out to you, ladies and gentlemen.
When did you join TNM? This is news to me.
This is what's happening because you've laid the foundation here, okay? And I said I would never do it, but this is me visiting the penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
I got enough stuff to make everybody decent. I can make any champ decent and win. Now, is that how I want to play? No. But do I have something that I enjoy from the champ themselves? That carries more weight.
All right.
If I can hit you with a brain buster, come on, that was Coco's thing. If I can hit you with a brain buster and win, let's clip this. Let's put this on YouTube because I'm absolutely giddy like a schoolgirl.
So B-Rock is excited for next week in the MLC that hasn't happened yet. All right, fair.
It happened.
Well, all right. Let me get my thoughts out on paper, so to speak. I've loved this MLC. I think this has been very fun. Outside of the one showdown experience over the weekend, which yes, I ended up getting the moment for much cheaper than it would have normally cost. All that wonderful stuff. However, this MLC has been nothing but kind to me. The fact that I'm going to get Becky without needing to spend money, fantastic. The fact that I'm going to get Americano without needing to spend money, even more fantastic. The fact that there's an EO on this weekend, that's cool. That's fine too. Hopefully I'll get close enough. I will spend the money that I typically would have spent on week 1 and week 2 combined on week 3. And maybe it'll get me EO. Because that's what my budget allows for. And maybe, you know what, maybe I don't spend all of it that I was going to spend on week 2 and week 1 and week 2 combined. Maybe I spend half of it or a little bit less and save for that Coco Beware, like B-Rock is talking about, at some point later on in the month. Either which way, month has been fine to me so far. Definitely picked up a solid amount of skill plates and some moments. Some new stuff is always nice to get. So the month has been solid. I think that Hall of Fame Lex is going to be a huge pick-me-up for any and every account out there. In so many ways, it's not even funny. He's an awesome addition as a trainer for that Hall of Fame group. He is the purple MP trainer for that health and gem damage and kick out and all that stuff. He's just another one to add to the group, so he's the MP for purple, which is great. Lex himself as a fighter is tippy top notch with the right things, and part of why these two things are together as the same point, the MLC and the showdowns. The week 3 showdown that Shell spoke about a little bit and that we kind of alluded to a little earlier on in the podcast, the week 3 showdown as a faction paid out practically everything under the sun that you could have thought of to make Lex the top tier fighter that he needs to be. So the showdown paid out his gear, which was like 180,000 on the armory wall. So if you didn't get that, you still can get that at the end of the month. The showdown also paid out the botch anniversary plate, which is a massive amount of damage increase for somebody like him. And the showdown also paid out the big botch man green plate. And Lex not only uses botch gems, but green gems. So those are the plates that you're going to want to have on him. And the gear is a massive pick-me-up. The only thing that the showdown didn't pay out was the moment, which he doesn't really need. Yes, he gets much better with it, just like, again, I've been saying for I don't know how long. Every character gets better with their moment, right? That's just how it works. But Lex himself, there's an argument for him to be one of the best Hall of Fame fighters, if not like the best, outside of the most recent crop of like Hall of Fame JBL and Hall of Fame Ron Simmons. Like if you're gonna take those two super whaley characters out of it, I think there's a spot for Lex's third best Hall of Famer in the game, and that's including the two whaliest Hall of Famers that we've had. He's just fantastic. He's great. His gameplay is smooth. If you do have the moment, to me, there's no question. If you have the moment, there's no question that he's number 3 on that, if not, up there arguing for contention of a little bit higher. But he's a great addition to everybody's roster, and everyone gets him for free. On top of that, when you max the MLC, if you max the MLC at 500k, you get a 6-star silver fuse up of him. So not only do you get to have him essentially one rarity shy of the max rarity that we have in the game, and it was going to help on Hall of Fame tokens before they got rid of Hall of Fame tokens, but if you save up enough tokens on the MLC, you can literally just button click him from silver to gold once you get the fuse up. And having 6 full stars makes having his max entourage that much easier. You don't have to worry about purchasing star fills. You don't have to worry about any of that type of stuff. So Lex, I think, is the biggest win on the game right now for this MLC. It's been insane to me how like awesome that actually is. Outside of that with Lex, Becky's fantastic. I know that Goat Becky's great against technicians. Back in Business Bex is great against strikers, but she's also the best Becky, in my opinion, in the game, even against non-strikers. So it's great to have a nice little upgrade for Becky in the game. So that's awesome too. And Americano, he's a huge win at technician. The unfortunate side of it, again, he's somebody that causes the emulators to lag, but if you can get him on a phone, I mean, that guy smacks like a Mack truck. So all the quality of fighters this month are fantastic. They may not be throwback names like what B-Rock is looking forward to with Coco Beware, for example, but the quality of actual fighter this is all huge wins for just about everybody in the game right now. So those were solid upgrades to me on the month. And then, yeah, kind of to piggyback on what we were talking about, we were going to talk about the Week 2 showdown, but there's really not much there other than it was Goldberg's last spear event or something. So they essentially sold a Streakberg for $30, which I was just going to ask if anyone didn't have them, if they did get them type of thing. But that's neither here nor there. The Week 3 showdown is really where it was at. A lot of people had a chance to help their faction out by doing a bunch of damage. And that was a huge wake-up call for, I think, a lot of faction members in terms of how much damage they can do and how they can help their faction out in Showdown. I think it was like 5.5 billion damage with Lex and Yoko. And then I'm pretty sure it was 10 billion damage with every single era outside of Hall of Fame, which was 25 billion damage. Again, as a faction. This was during the regular 6 energy midweek showdown with your Lex Luger getting the bonus and stuff like that. So it was interesting to see the names that came out to try and help and the names that didn't come out to try and help in the faction. But to me, that type of event was awesome to see how many people wanted to actually play the game and wanted to actually put in some numbers instead of just playing at their own pace. So it was really cool to see parts of the faction kind of step up and put the effort in. And you didn't need to worry about spending money on it. You just needed to play. And yes, as Shell has alluded to earlier, I did absolutely pop off in that event. That was a fun side of it for me too. Being able to try and put up some wacko numbers for the faction with some characters I knew that people were going to be struggling with, such as Yoko and such as Lex, because those are not really good characters to be trying to do billions of damage with. But it was good. It was a good experience. It was fun, and it amounted in, I think, a massive win for everybody altogether mentally. To kind of circle back on what B-Rock's point was earlier on in the podcast of there being an apathetic wave that is taken over and hit a lot of people hard. I think this was a good way to kind of pick everybody's spirits back up, giving people an event that they could feel like they actually helped the faction out and did something in, which was very, very cool. And that event, again, rewarded people enough into getting every possible benefit, again, besides the moment, for the new free Hall of Fame Lex, that it was just a win. It was just a win all around.
So, Bob.
What's up?
If they ran it again, but they did it on a weekend, do you think that would be a better experience across the board? Because sometimes midweek, you have people who have their everyday lives, so forth and so on. Don't you think that if they ran that on a weekend, the same premise, 10 billion, 25 billion, whatever it is, and they ran it on a weekend showdown, do you think you would still be inclined to have fun with what you did, even if it's different characters?
I think it's a hit and miss. I think because of the way that weekend showdown typically implicates there's a solo benefit, that it may not be as well received because everyone's having to invest into the faction and not themselves. But for me personally, I would love if every showdown was like that. I'd love if every showdown was like, hey, get your group invested, get your faction involved, make sure that people are actually putting in the effort and putting in some major numbers. It'd be cool to see it. I would almost rather see no limit. I'd almost rather see a legitimate I don't need 10 billion damage. I want to know how many billions of damage your faction can do, type of thing. And maybe that's weird or maybe that's asking for too much, but I'd love to see that. I'd kill to see that. How many if it was hey, B-Rock, how many billions of damage can your faction do with this month's Lex Luger? You know what I mean? Like, that'd be kind of fun, right? Maybe it's just me, but I'd have so much fun with that. That to me would be a major strategy for everybody in the faction to work together in terms of how to get the biggest benefit and a big reward. And I think at the end of the day, it's because the reward in the event was worth it. I think at the end of the day, because it gave us the Lex gear and the plates, and it just felt rewarding enough that that's why there were so many people that enjoyed the event instead of it just being another run-of-the-mill, here's a showdown. Like, that's why I think the Bex Showdown weekend was not as well received across the field, so to speak, because not everybody walked away with a win. More people walked away with a loss than they did a win. But if the reward was paid out for top 5 in the brackets, like, people would love it, right? And so I think that's where the end-all be-all is. Me personally, I always love when there's something to play for. I love when there's a game that you can, like, put your brain to use. And trying to hit billions of damage with someone like Yoko, for example, who's a Protect Gem character, like, it's not easy, but you can put your brain to it and make it work. Like, that's kind of fun. The flip side of that is, like, maybe not everybody does like that, but it all comes down to the reward. If the reward is worth it for enough people out there, everyone will want to do it. That's what I think the true answer is. I would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else on our MLC or the showdowns? Whether it was Streakberg for $30, whether it was the Faction Showdown event, whether it's the MLC, anything at all before we wrap up the podcast here?
So I just want to throw 3 other names out there as we talk about the Coco Beware. If they were to come out with a Tito Santana, I'm all over it. Just letting you. Tito Santana, come on. I'm showing my age here, but still, there's certain people that, again, they don't have to be great. They don't have to be great. I'm probably one of the few people that's going to take King Kong Bundy up just because I enjoyed, him. King Kong Bundy versus Mark Henry. Come on, that would be, those are some of the things that you could just turn around and play around with in the game to make the game interesting for myself. So, like a Tito Santana, a Harley Race, a Barry Windham. Barry Windham with the Lariat versus JBL with the Lariat in a showdown or a tour? Those are interesting things to me that make the game a little bit fun outside of what we have to do.
I can dig it. Anybody else for anything else before we wrap up the podcast? Final call.
I just want to point out my character that I will wail out for. I want a new Kane. It's probably going to be Hall of Fame Kane. I need a good Kane.
All right, yeah, let's go around the table. Who's everybody wailing out for? B-Rock is Tito Santana. Chris is a new Kane. Envy, who are you wailing out for if they add to the game?
Proceed with caution, Naomi.
Proceed with caution, Naomi. Shell?
A new decent Zelina Vega.
A new Selena Vega. Okay, I can dig it. And I will almost always exclusively wail out for an Eddie Guerrero. That's pretty given. If you know me, you know me. And surprise, Big Show numbers will wail out for a new Big Show. I don't think that one's happening anytime soon. Sorry, friend. But anyway, that is going to be it for the podcast today. Appreciate it. Huge shout out to everybody for showing up again. It has been a fun time. But this is the end of the line here. This is the end of the podcast. Huge shout out to the crew as always. B-Rock, thank you. Chris, thank you. Shell, thank you for hanging out under that mountainous pile of waffle cones. And Envy, shout out to you for all that you do. Thank you for taking care of the Voyeurs of the Week. You do a fantastic job of doing that. Make sure to stay tuned in 2 weeks. We will have our Volume 23 podcast right before the end of the MLC. So make sure to stay tuned then. I think that might be SummerSlam weekend. It is. So, we could either do a Sunday podcast where we talk about SummerSlam Day 1, or we could do a Saturday podcast and we can have our predictions for SummerSlam Day 1 and Day 2. Because apparently SummerSlam is a 2-day bonanza. But we will figure that out as time gets closer. Anyway, that is going to be it for this one. So until next time, y'all, have a good one.